Chapter 48. The dark, endless water is still like a painting in a frame with the contrasting moon far out in the permanent night sky. It's a beautiful sight, captured in an isolated moment. Not only does such a sight ring true for the ocean of this world, but all of its land. The world before Zoma's domain must have been vibrant, full of life, yet another reason he must be stopped. Isamu holds the mast of the shoddy raft, staring forward, avoiding sight with the dark ocean. Fedir sits like a monk on the edge, breathing in the fresh, cool, salty air. Fedir's calm voice startles Isamu as his breathing is frantic. "Scared of the water?" Fedir questioned. "In the world of fighters, anything that impedes movement is an uncomfortable position to be in. However, I think the raft is what I'm more worried about. I know Takeshi said it will grant safe passage, but all it takes is one monster and we're sunk. You needn't worry. I can't sense any monsters nearby." Isamu pauses. "You can't?" "Something I picked up a while ago, or I guess I always had it." Their voices trail off into the horizon, the soft waves created by the raft, gently brushed against its edges. A slight wind conjured by Fedir, flowing into the blank flag, pushing the raft to the north. Isamu glances at the helmed man staring at him, his green hair acting as a light in the darkness. Isamu witnessed the horror that befell his friend. From the words of the people, he shouldn't be alive. Was there a spell that saved him? Isamu pondered, peeking back, but careful to avoid the center of his face, afraid he can tell Isamu was glaring. Already Isamu was skeptical about how magic worked, how one could create an energy to destroy or aid. It wasn't until a few years ago he grew more accepting of it as his sister learned to wield it. But this is beyond anything he has seen before. A friend he once knew has completely changed before his eyes. The man is a myth of legends from what Aziza has told him. "You can create magic without imbued items?" he asked, staring eerily at the daunting mask. Fedir nodded, facing towards him. "Figured that one out once I lost my staff. I will have to forgive Queen Isis for losing her gift." Again, silence returns, the conversation running cold like the chilly breeze. Isamu stares at the ocean, then back to Fedir, repeating the cycle like clockwork. He is relaxed, calm, even when Takeshi mentioned the final battle, how close the end is. He didn't flinch nor react, simply followed the orders given. It's like fear no longer consumes his mind, a robotic shell of the man he knew. "I think we found it," Isamu announced as he leaned his head forward. Isolated alone on an island is a massive tower. The resemblance to Dreamer's Tower is uncanny, like they got lost in an illusion of the past. Fedir stands up, keeping his eyes towards the direction of the blowing of the wind. "You might want to hang on," Isamu said. "The bump coming up might startle you." The raft smacks onto land, coming to a complete stop. He looks up at the tower, mesmerized by its height. The tower looks to reach the heavens. It will take hours to scale the whole thing. Fedir floats off the raft, leaving Isamu stunned. I forgot he can do that, he thought, but now was not the time to gawk, unless he wanted to drift out into the sea. He jumps onto the tall grass, strapping the simple vessel with the use of a makeshift anchor Takeshi lent them. "Can I have some help here?" Fedir turns to face him. The helmet blocks all physical emotion he would have. It's hard to tell from his floating posture if he is disappointed or happy to help. Fedir sticks his hand forward. The anchor lifts slightly in the air. He brings his hand down and the spike stabs into the soil, embedded like a fairy tale sword to be drawn by the chosen one. "Thanks," Isamu softly said, redirecting his attention to the tower. The door looks untouched by the hands of time, though they appear to be heavy. Isamu walks to the door, pushing it open with his arm. It creaks and echoes throughout the sky. "I will lead," he said. The path through the first floor of the tower is a linear one. The dust-covered red carpet leads them in further, and the cobblestone walls are covered with stainless windows like a church. Their light footsteps break the eerie silence. A rancid smell envelops the air. "What is that?" Fedir asked. I sense a dark presence nearby. That doesn't sound good, Isamu thought, but he peeks down to the floor. It's poison, like the one in Thedon. Ahead is a purple bubbling poison that boils like a hot pot. It covers the entire path forward, which at the end leads to a spiraling staircase. There isn't much remaining as it has eaten away at the floor, seeping through the carpet, stone, and finally crust of the earth. However, the path is blocked as a decent long jump won't pass the poison that lies in wait, like traps set by hunters. Looks like we can't get across. We have to find another way around. As the sentence finishes, Fedir floats over to the other side. That's convenient. Can you get me over there? Fedir lifts his hand to Isamu. A barrier of light blue forms around him like a shield. That should protect you from the poison. It isn't strong enough for monsters, though. Thanks. Again, he accepts his words, stepping through the poison. It sizzles like meat on a scorching pan, but the poison doesn't pierce through the barrier. He reaches the other end unscathed, staring at the soles of his shoes. You have picked up a lot of spells since we last spoke. My awakening has garnered many abilities. They step up the spiraling stairs, one loud echoing step at a time, careful to not disturb the ancient rock. The further they travel, the more cracks reveal themselves, some large enough to peek outside to the dangerous drop. The grass mesh together and their raft slowly falls out of view. Isamu hangs close to the center, forcing conversation to distract himself from reality. So, what other powers do you have? Can you teleport or fly? No, but I can tell something is frightening you. How? Your energy calls out to me. I can feel it. It cries for help. If you could see what we were doing, you might have the same opinion. Maybe so, though the idea isn't pleasant. I may have lost it, and even with new ways to sense the world, going without sight still bothers me, like losing family, someone I could always rely on no matter what. Not only that, I can feel the burns from that beast even greater than before. I am in constant pain. Can we bring you to a healer or something? We don't have time. We must save the world before anyone can get hurt. Aren't those along the lines of your words? He looks down to his broken arm, both bearing scars and traumas from their endeavor. I won't argue against it, but I find it hard for me to stay with them. I haven't suffered as much as you. However, I want to believe I learned as much. Their voices trail off. The silence is awkward. Isamu continues to climb up the stairs holding his arm. Fedir, again, unbothered by the state of the world. He wants to comfort his friend. It's clear he is suffering. They have always had differing views, walks of life, but together they stand, fighting for the same cause. He wants to rekindle their friendship, but the words to him are lost. Only his diminishing thoughts echo. He has been through so much, and I am part to blame. Fedir doesn't deserve any of the turmoil he has suffered, especially from me. How could he forgive me? Fedir can sense the battle in Isamu's heart. He is fighting. Each sentence spoken like cutting off skin, reopening wounds struggling to recover. Any more and the pain would be too much for either to bear. Isamu's footsteps stop dead in their tracks. His energy picks up light like a kindled flame. This must be the top. Keep close to me, Isamu ordered, the sound of his steps leading ahead. The crack of a door echoes and a faint smell of calming incense appears. Isamu gasps. Fedir doesn't sense any malice, but rather the opposite. What do you see? Fedir asked. It's like a chapel here. There are a few pews along the walls, coins set along the floor, and... His voice stops abruptly, and his steps push farther in. It's a statue of some woman, but it's so lifelike. As Fedir moves in, a faint sound of rubbing is heard. It's made of stone, but it's soft. This must be where we play the flute, Fedir said, reaching into his coat, feeling for the flute. Can you play? I have a few times at Mass when the church needed someone to play for the hymns. Takeshi said any melody would work as long as it was from her most loyal servant. So, I guess the stage is yours. Fedir brings the flute to his dry lips. Memories of his youth flood in. remembering the beautiful songs they sang, the holy music from the instruments the church provided. He never cared for instruments, singing, putting forth a performance, but they brought people joy, a moment to let go of any difficulties of life. It was then he knew it was his calling. He uses those memories to play the flute, the first song he played. Its beautiful sound blows in the wind like a call, warding the darkness, bringing that moment of peace to the world of Alfgard. Suddenly, a white flash interrupts his play. His eyes shoot open. He can see before him an endless void of white. He looks to his pure hands, no longer scarred by the flames of evil, no longer burdened by the heavy helmet or the constant pain. He was healed, free. A heavenly woman's voice echoes in the light. It's gentle, soothing, and it is heard through the heart. "I have watched over you for many years, Fedir." Before him a giant woman appears. Her hair is shining and pink. Her white skin is immaculate. Her blue eyes light up like the morning sky with a nostalgic warmth that radiates around him like a blanket, washing away stress, fear, anxiety. Words can't even escape his lips as he is encapsulated by her pure beauty, staring deeper into her eyes as he stares upwards. "How can this be?" he finally mutters. "You are her. You are the goddess." Her soft eyes blink slowly to confirm his words. Slowly, she floats down to meet his eyes. "I cannot thank you enough for the trials you have taken to bring peace to my land. As you know, Zoma has taken hold due to my lack of judgment. I have brought distress to my people, and many have lost faith. It's thanks to the people who hold me close, such as you, that I still remain in this realm. Unfortunately, my power has dwindled due to the blessings of the 6 orbs. However, I may still be able to provide assistance in your quest." A snap echoes throughout the endless void, and Fedir's body glows with flawless white. Once it fades, a flowing robe, embroidered with jewels, covers him. Its silk texture is comforting and cascades like the waves of the ocean without the aid of wind. Around his neck is an amulet with a holy golden symbol, which is found upon the ancient text of scriptures. "I grant you the auroral armor and my sacred amulet. It will aid you against Zoma, the Dark Lord." "If I may, goddess," Fedir said, nervous of the words that leave his lips, though she looks upon him like a parent to a curious child. "What happened in Japan? What happened to the world? Why haven't you saved us? Why must I have to suffer to get this far?" "Your question is one I am all too familiar with. Many see me as feigning ignorance. However, I watch all my children carefully. I don't intrude on my people's lives because doing so would neglect the people's free will and their chance to overcome. It's the natural progression of growth. Growing reliant on my power will make people weak, and weak people don't follow through with ambition for change. The wounds of your body and scars of your mind are trials, obstacles toward your dreams. You may look at your circumstance and believe you are cursed, but I see it as being strong. You have sacrificed much for your dream, such as those of the past and those who will be of the future. You are an inspiration to those who are lost and to the person you were, because you never gave up." He takes his hand, placing it on his heart, like a heavy weight has been lifted, though the pain of being crushed still needs to heal. "I will try to understand your perspective." "That is all I ask." The void disappears. Nothing is seen, yet the warm light still is comforting him. Isamu's voice shouts like danger is approaching. "Fedir!" Fedir feels his face to find the helmet is back on. The incense overwhelms his scent, and his head rumbles to Isamu's screaming. "What happened?" Fedir whispered, confused by the recent events. "The statue just up and disappeared, and you weren't responding. Then you shine bright with these new clothes around you. It all happened so fast." It was real, he thought. touching the silk warm robe. What happened to you? He holds the amulet around his neck, close to his chest, feeling the edges of the cross shape. You will never believe me. I spoke with the goddess. A sound doesn't leave Isamu's mouth. The pause of silence is deafening. His energy, though, isn't one of confusion or distress or frustration. It's calm like a gentle campfire. You know, I don't believe that for a second, but I want to believe you. So many crazy things have happened that it is too much to ignore as luck or coincidence. Fedir, I would like to apologize. It's true I don't believe her, but it was terrible for me to say what I did. You shouldn't have to choose what to believe because of my thoughts. I'm sorry. I appreciate you saying that. It was hard to ignore what you said. They had weight. My faith lessened but never disappeared. It wasn't until now that I felt my faith come back to me. I'm happy to hear that from you, and I hope she gave you the answer you were seeking. Perhaps we can go back to the way things were. You know, at least for us to have something safe and familiar to cling on to in this new world. I would like that. Some peace in a world of the unknown would be nice. Great! He shouted, excited like a kid on his birthday. There is so much we have to catch up on. Agreed. I was hoping to tell you of a special friend I met recently. And who would that be? Fedir chuckles. How long has it been since his last genuine laugh? His excitement to speak. Only the #1 dancer in Asham. She lives in Damdara. A gasp like an adoring fan squeaks out. You're serious? Lena is here? People say how her beauty rivals that of the Queen of Isis. You have to tell me what she looks like. A pause for several seconds filled the room, soon followed by an audible slap. Damn it! Maybe we can find the time when it presents itself. Maybe? What you mean to say is definitely.